Welcome to the first episode of Sitcom-Slipups, the show where I pretty much torture myself by looking for some of the worst sitcoms ever created. Now, I'm sure you may be wondering about the title. It's a pretty weird title, but here's a little bit of backstory on it. Now, originally, I had no idea what I was going to do for this episode, like what show I was going to talk about. At first, I thought I was uh, thinking about doing that show, How I Met Your Father, because I thought that would be pretty relevant. But then I looked at it and decided, this actually isn't that bad. I don't know if I can make like a like an episode about this. So then I just went looking online, like what are some of the worst sitcoms? I gotta find something ripe. And then I found it, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna be talking about the hard times of R.J. Berger, an MTV show from the early 2010s. Now I decided that this now this show piqued my interest because like I was on one of those lists like, oh, this is like the top 20 worst sitcoms of all time, and this show was on that list. And this is the description of the show on that list. This is how they describe the plot of the entire show. Unpopular kid gets his pants pulled down in front of the school and becomes popular once they see his giant penis. And the minute I saw that, I knew I had found the episode I was going to talk about. I hadn't seen a single episode of it. Something inside me just knew that it would be what I was going to be talking about today. And I was right. If you want to get an idea of how bad this show is, this show got 2 seasons, overall 24 episodes. I made it through one. All I watched was the first episode. I after that, I felt like I had pretty much watched the entire show. I really felt like there was no point in me watching the rest. And since I only watched the first episode, that's what I'm going to be focusing about on today. I'm going to give like a like a layout of the pilot, which I feel like is pretty fitting because this is the first episode of the podcast. So, how does this show start out? I'm not even bullshitting. Literally the first scene of this show is our hero, R.J. Berger, beating his meat in his bed, and it's like up close too. You can like hear him like breathing, like oh yeah. It's I know it's meant to be funny, but it's just I feel like I'm invading the man's privacy. I just feel really just just uncomfortable. And I mean, I like a good. I'm not like one to go like, oh, this joke is too vulgar, ugh, gross. No, I like a good, wiener joke, a good masturbation joke, whatever. When it's done, when it's actually funny. And like I said, this isn't funny. This is just weird. To be fair, this may not be the best way to start your show out, but it really does give you the a good idea of the comedy you're gonna get in R.J. Berger, because like 99% of the jokes in this show are just masturbation, sex, titties. If you don't believe me, literally the next scene, like after we were forced to witness this man strangle his sausage. Literally, the next scene is he's with his friend at school, and they're like sitting at a table and just watching girls, they're just like creeping on them, just going, "Oh yeah, oh that rack." Yeah. And I feel like this is a good time to mention his friend because his friend is just his friend's a creep. It's just a straight up creep, bro. He's like throughout the episode, he's like filming girls like titties and their asses without them knowing. It's like, bro, I get it. I mean, teenagers are known for being horny, but this is just creepy. Like, I feel like this guy's gonna grow up to be like a sex offender or something. And more on this guy, they give him some of the most laughably bad lines I've ever heard in a show. Like, I swear to God, he's like creeping on this girl, and at one point he says, I would kill all of my friends and my family just to get a look at those pepperonis." Oh my God. And I'm just like, why? Look, what? what made someone like feel like that was a line that other people needed to hear? I just don't understand. Like I could have gone my entire life without hearing that line, but nope. No. Thank you, RJ Berger. I just needed to hear that. And while they're creeping on girls, RJ is looking at this specific girl, Jenny, who's already in a relationship with this dude Max, which is, I mean, apparently he's supposed to be like this bad guy. He's like RJ's bully, but he's like, but listen, I mean, if if I knew, listen, if I knew that this some random loser like a crush on my girlfriend wanted to like bang her or something, yeah, I wouldn't be that cool with that kid either. I can kind of understand why Max hates this kid. And while RJ is simping over Jenny, this other girl comes up, like I think her name's like Lily or something. Uh, I think she's supposed to be like one of RJ's like close friends, but she just comes off as a creep. You know, she's always like flirting with RJ, being like, "Oh, I wish you, when are you ever gonna man up and fuck me, RJ?" Like, what the hell? I swear to No, look, I have two things to say about that. One, uh, some you may not have an issue with her behavior, but all I'm saying is if she was a girl, if she was a guy and RJ was a girl, that would be pretty fucking creepy. Like you may have to call the cops, put this dude on a list, you know. And second thing is, I'm honestly surprised that RJ like keeps like denying her. Because listen, we've established that just everyone in this universe is just horny, all right? And I mean, obviously RJ is too. I mean, our literally our first introduction to him and this show is him jacking it. So I'm just surprised he like, even if it was like a reluctant yes, I'm kind of surprised he didn't just like cave in. It's like, whatever. He's like, I mean, you're pretty creepy, but let's just make this quick. Don't look at me while we do this. Now back to the episode. Now after like RJ and his homie are done, creeping on random girls, they decide like pretty much like I mean I don't think the very next scene, but like the very next scene after that, they decide to like cut to like him and like it's like his parents like having an orgy with some other couple. I was like, it's not relevant to the story at all. It's just kind of weird. And then RJ is just like laying in his bed. It's like, what has my life become? And I think at this point you're supposed to feel like sympathy for RJ. You know, he has to deal with his parents banging some other couple. He has to deal with getting cucked by the school jock or whatever. But honestly, I can't take any of this so serious. It's just so stupid. In the next scene, it cuts to a basketball game at the school. And the school's team, if something goes wrong with the school's team, and the coach is forced to put RJ in because he's the last player available. And then something weird that happens. Max is also on the team. He does something weird that happens. Like RJ is like on his way going up into the court, and then Max like wipes his finger under his arm and then just brings it up to RJ's nose and goes, "That's what a real man smells like." I mean, I know it was supposed to be like a big like bully move, like disrespectful, like haha, make fun of RJ's a loser moment or whatever. But honestly, it was just it's just kind of weird. It's like, bro, like what does that have to do with being a man? It's like you're not a man unless you smell like absolute dog shit. 50-day-old dog shit rotten on a hot summer sidewalk. Yes, sir. Woo! So anyway, RJ's in the game now and everything's going all right. But then RJ is he's forced to make a basket. He's forced to make a shot right at the very end of the game and he makes it, and then it loses. But there's not even much of a focus on that because right after his shorts, for some reason, they just come down, and everyone is just staring at his massive dong. And you think, I mean, anyone with a massive penis, they may not, mind it being showed to the school, because, I'm not, you're not ashamed of it. but in the next scene, it's revealed that RJ actually is ashamed of his wiener because if some of you are still thinking, this show doesn't sound too bad, this is the reason why he's ashamed of his penis. Apparently, he's ashamed of his penis because apparently he almost killed a girl when she tried to suck his dick. She almost choked to death. And they like tell us this like in this weird flashback, like this anime style flashback, but it's animated really badly. It's just really weird. And it's like I don't know why they couldn't have just done it like live action. Oh wait, I actually do know why they did it anime style because the girl that almost choked on his knob was was Asian, so it's like, oh, let's make an anime style. It's like, all right, a nice one, guys. Now I know that it's like a real issue where penises are like too big, and they like some men actually can't have sex with women because their schlongs are too big. But and I sympathize with those guys. That sounds like it really sucks. But in this case, I guess it's just so ridiculous. It's just so stupid. And not even like a way like where I'm like laughing with the show. I'm laughing at the show. Okay, it's just like who thought up this? who thought who thought this was a good idea that people would want to see this? Well, I mean, apparently they were right because the show has like a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb. So maybe I'm just uncultured. Maybe I'm the dumb one. I don't know. So it's shown that RJ is ashamed of his penis, but then but then his friend, I forget his friend's name, but his friend, the one, the creeper guy from earlier, he's like, oh no, man, you gotta be proud of your penis, man. But but he's not even like saying this to like really comfort him. He's saying this because because he thinks that like his penis, giant penis, is like the ticket for them to be like popular and get with the popular hot girls. Because as we established, this dude is a fucking creep. Then the next scene, RJ and his homie, they're at a popular kids pool party, and his friend is like taking pictures of like filming girls like asses and breastises and all that good stuff, classic creeper stuff. And at one point, RJ meets this girl, and he ends up like helping her with something, like pushing something into the ground or something. I forget what it was. I'm not gonna go back. I don't care. Uh, but he's struggling a little bit, and what? And then the girl says, "Oh, you're having a little trouble. Why don't you push it down with your massive wiener?" Or that's not paraphrasing. She says something along the lines of that, and then she leaves. And then RJ just looks like sad, like put down by her words. But I honestly couldn't tell if that was like a compliment or an insult. I mean, I feel like that could go both ways. And then after that girl leaves, his crush Jenny comes up. They're talking for a little bit, and, and then Max comes up and ends up punching RJ in the face for talking to this girl. And honestly, I honestly, they want me to sympathize with RJ. I'm kind of sympathizing with Max. Honestly, I mean, you had to have this little creep flirting with your girlfriend. Yeah, I sympathize with you, bro. I mean, and on top of that, he has a bigger wiener than you. That would suck. I mean, can we just make this show? I mean, I know this show ended like years ago, but let's reboot it. Let's just make it for the point of view of Max. 'Cause I feel like a lot of people would rather see that. And then RJ, after getting punched right in the nose, he's like, you know what? I've had enough of this shit. And and then he walks up to Max. He's like, what do you want, freak? And then RJ, he pulls down his pants, rubs rubs his hand on his penis, and then just drags it across Max's nose and said, "That's what a man smells like, bitch." And at this point, you may be thinking, "Wow, you made it through an episode of this?" Yes, I made it through one full episode of this, and honestly, this is the bravest thing I've ever done, and I did it for you guys. If there's more than one person watching listening to this, I doubt it. So anyway, yeah, that's the first episode. And I mean, I watched like clips of other episodes just to see if like anything gets better, but for what I've seen, this is pretty much the entire show. It's just one big just this entire show is just one big sex joke. Pretty much all the characters are sex jokes. Any joke that isn't haha sex funny is haha RJ is a loser. Let's make fun of him. I really don't care. I mean, I know you guys may think that, my laughing in this episode was like, haha, yo, you actually find something that's funny. Like I said, I'm laughing at them, at the show, not with the show. That's different. Okay, I just can't believe that the show was actually made. Because when you think about it, there's no reason for the show to exist. Like, if I want, like, just, like, wall to wall, like, sex jokes and characters that are pretty much defined by, like, always being horny, I'm just gonna watch something like American Pie. Like, and American Pie came out, like over 10 years before this show was made. So, yeah, this show is just a worse version of American Pie. And I don't think anyone was asking for that. If you want American Pie, just watch American Pie. You'll trust me, you'll have a much better time. Now I know some of you may be thinking it's unfair of me to judge this show so harshly after I've only seen one episode. But listen, like I said, I'm pretty sure like the entire show just doesn't get any better, and this entire show is just this level of quality. The second thing is, listen, if the first episode's supposed to like get me attracted to the series and draw me in, this episode this episode did the exact opposite. I never want to see another episode of this show. So, even if some of the other episodes are even slightly better, I still think they failed. So anyway, so yep, that was the hard times of RJ Berger. Uh Next time I think I'm gonna cover something more light. This is a hard one. There are a lot of just dicks and boners in this. I mean, like I said, I don't mind a boner joke, but this is just a lot. So next time I'm probably gonna cover like a Disney Channel sitcom or something. It's pretty light, and you can always count on the Disney Channel to deliver on a rancid sitcom. So anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you tune in next week.